It's time once again to go racing.
It does not get any better than this.
The pressure is really on now.
Yes, it's pole position. Lights out and we're racing in PSGL.
The first lap has been absolute chaos.
What an overtake! Oh no!
I've never seen anything like it.
Side by side again. This will be settled right at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters, this is the PSGL Season 30, round number 10 for PCF2. My name's King Kodiak and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's escapades. Joining me in the commentary box, always happy to say, it's the captain herself, it's Jess!
Hello everybody, it's great to be back, isn't it, after a few weeks off. I think it's been over a month since we last commentated alongside each other because you were away on holiday. Unfortunately, the game had some issues, but the game had a patch yesterday, so that's why the drivers are allowed to be racing across all the tiers, including this one as well. And we got a full grid as well, which is great to see on F2's return.
Indeed, indeed. Right, as a bit of a reminder, because it has been a while, as mentioned, let's have a look at the track map first of all, and that is what we have got. 23 turns around Marina Bay, this very, very tricky circuit. For those that saw F1 yesterday and Brendan Lee's wonderful win back up to the top step for the Ferrari driver, that is what we are looking at. So let's have a quick look at the championship standings. And it looks like so. So Thomas Ronhart is not in our tier anymore. He has gallivanted off to F1. So it is Simon Perroni that leads the way by only 17 points over Luke Smith. And Ruben Pedreño right behind him. A bit of only a 20-point gap, so it's not insurmountable with 5 rounds remaining. Now ignore the flag icons at the top. They haven't been updated yet. There are not 6 rounds remaining. There are 5 remaining. Of course, this one being Singapore. Next one will be United States. Mexico is being dropped from the remaining races. So there are 5 rounds remaining in this season. Let's head down trackside, shall we? As everything is getting underway, making sure everything is where it needs to be. Right, to make sure I've got my map. And let's see who's done what, shall we? We have got some reserves on the table, one of which is the Williams we are looking at, Max Wiesel. That's not a name I'm familiar with, so welcome to you. No one has set a time on the board yet. We've got, so Max Wiesel is standing in for Jack West this time around. Istvan Puki. Now, there was a bit of a change in the who was standing in for who. As Istvan Puki was going to be standing in the second Williams from Olaf Soko. But Jack, I believe, is actually, Jack is actually in. So
Wiesel is standing in for Soko tonight.
Yes. So Wiesel is standing in for Olaf Soko, and Istvan Puki is standing in for Danny Lusink this time around. Also standing in is Manolo Villar. Where are you? There you are. You haven't left the pits yet. You're standing in for Tom. Ben Sabakonyi is standing in for Joost Noordijk, and he is there. He is doing the rounds. Where are you? You're coming down towards turn 14. And finally, Dylan Warren is standing in the Alpha Tauri for Paris Burrell. Dylan, where are you? Where is he? My eyes.
Late reserve as well.
Oh, there he is.
A late reserve. A late reserve. He was called in quite recently as well. Hasn't done much practice around this track, so he's not expecting anything. But sometimes if you get the late call up, you are expected to race, and,
and
that's where he is. And he's a regular. He's a regular driver in the F1 tier as well. He usually races there as well. So he's a familiar face to PSGL and has done quite well in many PSGL PC seasons. So good to have him with us tonight.
Absolutely, it's good to see Dylan on board with us here in F2, although he did invalidate his last lap as we jumped to him. So everybody except for, yeah, absolutely, everyone except for Jack West out on soft tyres. Jack is the only one giving the mediums a go. Fair enough. So current top time set by Norbert Jakob in the Ferrari 134.460 with Max Wiesel 34.818. Then Jeffrey Ritchie with a 36.6 and Primoz Miklovic with a 37.6. Who else is out in our hot lap? Well, Duncan is invalidated. He's invalidated his first and his second by the look of it, but I would suspect his fuel tank was probably too dry to complete another one anyway. Andre Terabukin, nope, you've invalidated yours as well. What about Eastvan? Eastvan's still going. We can ride on board with him for the remainder of his lap. No, he's backed off anyway. Actually, no, he invalidated his lap somewhere along the line as well. What about Bence? Where is he? He's heading up to turn 14 as well in the Mercedes, so let's follow him through. This is a difficult circuit. Yes, you can invalidate your lap on a street circuit. There are certain spots that the walls aren't quite as close. Right here is where we are looking now, coming through 16, 17. Let's see how well Mr. Zaba Konyi does. Through 19, coming up to 20, 21 now. The corners are very, very quick. And Carter Lundy's retired from the session. Has he stuck it in the wall somewhere? No,
he hasn't. He's got a qualifying ban.
He's got a quali ban. Oh dear.
For impeding Jonah Martins during qualifying at Zandvoort.
Well, that'll do it. That was quite a while ago, but fair play, Carter. And I must confess I hadn't followed that one. 37.5 on the board for Ben Sabitz. Not travelling at the top of the times yet. Who else can we follow? Jordan Poland. He's done some time on the F1 tier as well as a stand-in. He's gone out on mediums as well. Bit of a curious one that not many people favouring the mediums here. I'm not entirely surprised because this is an absolute, this is a difficult circuit to get right, and you want to be having as much grip as you can, but no one wants to burn up all their soft tyres, I suppose. What about you, Miss Jess? What would be your qualifying strategy? You've done some time behind the wheel. I certainly haven't.
Well, to be honest, I usually qualify outside the top 10, and the softs don't tend to last well around here because it's mainly about the tyre temperatures, which make the tyres go about 4 or 5 laps. It can realistically last 9, but realistically in terms of pace, you get the struggle to get past lap 5. So you would want to get rid of the softs very early on if you start on them. Go on hards, maybe potentially for the rest of the race. If there's a safety car, you can go on to mediums as well. People outside the top 10 will have an option of maybe either starting on hards or mediums and then being very brave and putting on softs in the end as well. It's very flexible, this strategy as well, but I'm still shocked that a lot of people are going for the soft tyres early, because we've seen in PCF1 yesterday, everyone was doing their best in full quali to go and qualify on the mediums inside the top 10, so I'm a bit shocked no one is sandbagging here today as well. I think the only ones that set lap times on the mediums are Max Wiesel, Jack West and Jeffrey Ritchie. Everyone else at the moment, I believe I'm trying to see if Norbert Jakob has set his best lap time.
No, that was
on
on
the soft tyres.
Yeah, that was on soft, so he set that on. So, it was indeed on soft tyres that time has been set. So, we're starting to see some medium runners now coming out. Jonah Martins is out there as well. Simon Perroni had come out for an installation lap, but he's gone straight back in again. I was going to follow Jordan Poland on his run, but he invalidated it straight away, coming through turns 1, 2 and 3. And just tried his luck. I mean, he really was pushing his luck a little bit too far, as he was really wanting to maximise his time through there. Jack West, as we were just riding on board with him, invalidated that. I mean, this is an outlap anyway, so he's not going to worry too much about that. I say he's got the fuel light on, but he hasn't done any laps on these medium tyres, and no, he hasn't. So not sure quite what he's doing there. Who else can we look at? Svetkov is one we can look at in the Haas. Where are you? You're coming up to turn 7, so Memorial Corner, purple sector 1. So getting some decent time out there on the soft tyres, running nice and wide through 8th. Now, let the car run as wide as you dare through 9, hard on the gas, down to what always was called the Singapore Sling. Now through 11 and 12. Keep the car nice and steady, then just swing it back round for 13. Slowest part of the circuit, then this big old run. I can't see who that is directly in front of him. Won't be beating. Ah, nicely done. There's Andre Cherebukin. That is very nicely pulled over and kept out of harm's way. Through 14 and then through this very twisty set of 90-degree turns. 16, 17, all tail almost getting away from the house driver there. Now into 18, 19. Now that runoff area there has been visited many times in real life and in the virtual world. Bit of a squiggle there coming out of 19. We kept it fairly well under control. 20, 21, now 22 and 23. But that is into the pit lane. So Svetkov not setting a time on those soft tyres. I think more people are doing what you were suggesting, Jess. I think more people are concentrating on those medium tyres. Jeffrey Ritchie looks like he's out there on the time. And Norbert Jakob is bucking the trend, though. So he's sticking with the soft, taking another 3/10 off his previous time. 34.173. Is that going to put him at a disadvantage starting on those soft tyres?
Well, you always get 2 or 3 drivers in any tier on the PC side that want to go bold and go for the soft strategy, which I wouldn't do on this game, but fair play to those souls for doing so at the moment. But it can work if there's no safety cars, as we've got Pookie also backed off his lap. I wonder if Sam Corby's going to do exactly the same thing. He's going through sector 1 now. He's purple. I think you having a benchmark on those soft tyres gives you a little bit of a feel of what you can do for the mediums, really. If you feel you can't go quicker, or if you can go quicker on the mediums, then you can just back off your soft run and go on to the mediums at the end. Because they don't have the luxury compared to the last few games, F1 2019, especially where they have a lot of mediums at their disposal. They only have 1 set of mediums to use in qualifying compared to 3 soft runs, so they're saving all their medium runs to the end. The soft runs are used as banker runs just to get a feel for the track, because again, it's their first time on this game since the new patch came out yesterday. Not many people had the luxury of joining us for the esports invitational and didn't have the build, so this is technically their first race with this new patch, which hopefully fixes the desync. But so Sam Corby then is going and into the final part of sector 3. Now, first used in Formula 1 this track actually in 2008. First night race actually on the calendar. It was introduced, and it was the scene of a famous controversy between the 2 Renault drivers. Need I say more? Sam Corby decides to not back out his lap. P2, and we got Saba Conye, who just set a very good lap time on the mediums. 5/10 slower than Norbert Jakob on the soft, so Sabo Conye is the one to watch right now on the mediums.
That's a great time, as you say, both Ferrari eSport driver candidates, as you can see from the tag there. Norbert Jakob is still with that soft tyre run. That should be granting him a bit more than just 0.4 of a second. That's a great run there from Sabo Conye. See if he's able to hang on to that. I was a bit confused when Sam came over the line. He improved on his time and went down a position. That one confused me very slightly until I realised that Sabakoni had set his time. So 35.6 then for the Red Bull. Still a lot of times yet to be set, and we've only got 4 minutes left. Who's just jumped up to Yona Martins in the Alfa Romeo? 35.235. On the board, puts him up into 4th position. A few more people coming out of the pit lane now to start what is potentially going to be their final run. Did Sam cross the line? Yeah, I think Sam must have done by now. Yeah, he did. 35.681 on the board. Yes, we were talking about him not 2 minutes ago, Buxton. For God's sake, keep up. Is Jeffrey Ritchie still going? No, he's done his lap 36.6, which I think he was in the 37s before, so he has a bit of an improvement there. Luke Smith, Simon Perroni aren't not quite championship leader yet, but he will take this one over with a good score over Thomas Ronhart. Such was the Dutchman's dominance of this tier before he got promoted up to F1, and quite rightly so. Fair play to him. We wish him well up in the top tier. Simon Perroni working his way through Sector 1 now, looking to see what he can do. Dylan Warren, are you on a lap? You are. Just coming to the end of Sector 1. And that's not a purple time for him on the medium tyres. Into turn 8. for the AlphaTauri. Can he keep that one under control? Yes, he can. Swings through turn 9. Flirts with the barrier, as again you have to do at Singapore. This is why I can't do well here. I'm too cautious. I'm just not one to flirt close enough to the barriers. But then I've never actually driven a lap. Well, it's not strictly true. I did do a few promotional laps, but that was actually for the previous game for 2020, not for 21. So in all my time in all the hours I've racked up in the F1 games, I've driven maybe 10 minutes.
Fair enough, whereas I've done quite a bit of time. I'm in a few other leagues as well, which I'm not going to say, but I actually kind of like driving Singapore on this game compared to previous games. I usually hated it, but on this game it just has a bit more of a flow to it. It's quite nice actually. But Dylan, I think's backed off his run, so I wonder if he's going to go again actually for his final push run on those mediums. I won't be surprised if he does. So he's going to go and set what he only got one more time to do it. Everybody is going to try their best on the mediums, but apart from Norbert has gone for another set of the sauce. We've got Max Wiesel that comes across the line in P2. Now that is a very good lap. Now he's a guy that's doing well on the PlayStation side. He is one of the championship contenders in the PlayStation top tier. So again, good to have him on the PC side of the reserve, of course. He only gets called in last minute if any of the PC reserves can't make it, and surely enough, Max Wiesel was one of those people that was called up tonight. Luke Smith is on a lap as well. I think we've got a few more people on the laps as well. We've got, I think it's Rumbadrenio. No, it's his teammate who's on his out lap. Okay, it's not Rumbadrenio, but Rumbadrenio is going through sector 3 now. So we'll stay on board with the Alpine Esports Academy driver of Luke Smith. Had a few wins this season so far. Again, also took part in the top tier many times this season. So he goes up to the line. What would he be his best lap time? Means P2, 34.4 for the Englishman. Pretty good stuff for him. Next across the line will be a Mercedes. That's Duncan Hoffland in P3. They're starting to come in thick and fast, Chris.
Here they come, yeah. Max Wiesel is now been pushed down to 4th position. Pedreño has put a time in 34.6. Simon Perny only 7th for the Frenchman. Always tripping over. That was Jordan Poland, but I mean, Simon Perny had already completed his lap by this point. He might have been lining up to do another one. Looks like he had enough fuel on board, but now the checker flag is going to deny him. Jonah Martins has already parked his car with a 35.2. He will not improve from that. Norbert Jakob has invalidated his lap. He will not improve on those soft tyres, sticking with the red mark tyres, along with Jack West. Another soft runner. We'll follow him then. Sam Corby is done as well, along with Sabaconi. They cannot improve. Jack West is working his way down through 11 and 12, down towards 13. Bit of a lock up there, very wide coming through 13. Terry Buchan has parked his car. He's in 8.35.1 on the board. For him, what can Jack do? Up into turn 14. Is it going to be... Well, it wasn't a particularly remarkable sector for him. So he may not improve this time around, or might remain in 10th position. He will be starting on the meters. Primoz Miklovic has just jumped up into 8th in the McLaren. 35.0 on the board, so Jack might be saved.
He's invalidated.
He's invalidated his lap, so no improvement for Jack, even if there was time on the board. Norbert has parked his car, so no improvement for him. Well, Jack has bounced off the wall anyway. Luke is back in the pits. Duncan has actually stopped, so he's letting people go. Who's just jumped up? Was that Jordan Poland? Yes, it was. So he took a couple of laps out of those soft tyres, and 35.1 on the board for him starts him in 9th position. Is anybody else out there on the lap? Dylan Warren? Yes, you're still pressing on in the AlphaTauri. Will you improve?
He's always 3 times up in the middle sector.
What can he do? That's 8th with a 34.897. So there's a bit of a time spread that we're not used to seeing in this tier. But it's going to be Norbert Jakob from Luke Smith on the top row, as everybody I think that is on the lap has finished, or have they? Simon Perny, no, you're coming in the pits. You are done. I think everybody is done. So he's going to be Jakob and Smith on the front row with Duncan Hoffland and Max Wiesel. Well, that's a way to make your name known in a tier, is to start on the second row on your maiden race in it. And
no, it was his second race. He made his debut on PC around Zandvoort.
Beg your pardon. beg your pardon, second race. Nicely done, right behind Duncan Hoffland. Sabo Coney and Ruben Pedreño will take on row 3, and then Simon Perny and Dylan Warren in row 4. Primoz Miklovic and Jordan Poland will have row 5. Row 6 is Andre Tarabukin and Jonah Martins. Row 7, Jack West and Manolo Villar. Row 8 is Jeffrey Ritchie and Sam Corby. Row 9 is Svetkov and Oscar Vellicampa. And at the tail end of the field is Carter Lundy and Istvan Pukki. Ooh, well, yeah, it is a bit of a spread in times, as you can see there, but Norbert's going to have a lot of work to do. He's going to have to hope he can build up a decent gap very, very early, because he's going to have a lot of traffic to deal with when he has to ditch those soft tyres.
Which will round to be about lap 4, lap 5, as I was saying. Another driver who I feel like needs to do well as well on the softs is Jordan Poland as well. He's got to pass a train of cars to get close to I was saying speed, because if he gets lower than 10th, I would say, then he's in a lot of trouble, because around about lap 4, the mediums will be the best tyre, and you would really want to be pushing as far as you can, defending as hard as you can as well. So the soft runners are going to be disadvantaged, but it's just showing that, just like we saw in PCF1 yesterday, the medium tyres are the tyres to be on to start this race, not the softs. So they were right. They must have listened to me somehow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And who wouldn't listen to you, Jess, quite frankly? You know exactly what you're talking about. Well, then, that's... so the weather would seem to be dry. The weather gods have not disadvantaged our drivers. I would imagine this track in the wet, in much like Monaco, is an absolute nightmare.
Well, I've driven Singapore in the wet, and I have to tell you, I've got to agree, absolutely aches your shoulders when you're in the wet as well. It's awful. But the drivers in real life have to endure heat as well. But with these drivers as well, with the way that this track is designed as well, pretty much everywhere is going to ache, whether you're on a pad or whether you're on a wheel, because you're going to be racing for a longer period of time compared to the other tracks. I think it's the longest race in terms of time on the calendar as well. And if there's a safety car and if there's rain, it could be up to about an hour racing, which probably the drivers want to get over it pretty quickly. But we've seen some classic Singapore races in PSGL history as well. Quite a lot of them, I experienced, had rain in the PSF2 side that I've commentated in my time there. So hopefully it doesn't happen tonight for the sake of the drivers. But we do know everyone apart from Norbert Jakob and Jordan Poland inside the top 10 will be on the mediums. We'll find out what everybody outside the top 10 will be going on to. Most likely the mediums. I wonder if we'll see people, I would say, towards the tail end, like in 18th, 19th, 20th, go for a gamble strategy and go on to the hard tyres and get that sorted right away, and then you want to go to the soft at the end. But we will double check and see where what everyone else is doing on that front. So tyres, yeah, they've gone for hard except Isfahan. So I'm guessing the gamble is not a gamble, because most people have gone for it outside the top 10.
Yeah, Kira, I wonder if that's a mistake from his friend Pookie. He's the only one, but then I guess he's got nothing to lose. And plus he's a reserve, so I guess he's got all to gain and nothing to lose in that sense. So why not throw the dice and see what happens? All right, so we know this process by now. Norbert Jakob leading the field on the warm-up lap. Who is going to do well here? Who are we keeping our eye on? Well, I'm a little surprised by Simon Perny. He's, let's say, he's second in the championship behind the freshly promoted Ronha. He's going to have a lot of work to do to make sure he doesn't lose too many points to the likes of Ruben Pedreño, who is starting ahead of him on this particular grid. But yeah, we'll see. But Luke Smith, fair play from him, starting in second, the lead medium starter. If he gets a decent start, he could really disadvantage Norbert Jakob. So the newcomer to this tier, or stand-in for this tier, the German of Max Wiesel, is really looking to show his worth to this particular tier, and he's done pretty well so far. What can Jordan Poland do from 10th position in the Ferrari? Like you say, Jess, he's got a lot of work to do to make that strategy work. Let's see as they work their way through, as Norbert Jakob, I should say, works his way through the final sector. The AI takes over, and we'll get ready for round 10 here in Singapore.
it's been a long way. The drivers have been willing to get on racing, and we've been willing to, and I can hear Chris taking a nice drink before we start there.
I fear I'm going to need it.
Definitely. I'm sure you'll be guys doing that as well in the chat. Let us know your thoughts in the chat. Who do you think is going to win? We'll be keeping an eye on the chat as the race goes on as well, because who knows, predictions can change. I think we're just waiting for the Alpine, the last few cars to make it on to the grid as well, and it's showing what the strategy can be in AWS. It thinks it's going to be a 2-stop. No, it's not going to be a 2-stop. I think it's going to be a 1-stop. But Chris, I'll let you do the start for the first time in nearly a month.
I need to blow off the cobweb somehow. Jonah Martin seemed to have had some trouble as he was quite some way off the back of the field, oddly. All right, let's get the coughing out of the way as then the AI puts the Alfa Romeo into its position. Right, it's been too long since we last did this. Let's get this race underway. The grid is formed. The lights are on. It is time to wind them up and let them. Oh, it's a really long hold. And let him go. Now, can Norbert Jakob make those soft tyres work? A lot of fidgeting further back. A big move from the Alfa Romeo Pyrenees. Cannot make it work at the moment. There's Mikhlovic. What a stunning stuff for him. I think he's jumped over the first few turns there as he's suddenly jumped up into 7th position. McLaren's now formed together. Jono Martins, Luke Smith, Duncan Hoffman holding on to their top positions at the moment. Jordan Poland has gone up a position, up into 9th. And oh, that's trouble for Martins. Jono Martins falling down the field. He's down into 19th. What's happened to Dylan Warren? He's fallen right the way down to the back. So his race has gone from bad to disastrous. But so far so good for the top of the field. Doesn't look like anybody has fallen massively off the field yet. Now, does Jono Martins have damage? No, well, the front wings...
Not any obvious ones.
Nothing obvious, no. But so far so good. Norbert Jakob already building up 7/10 of a second to himself.
Yeah, which is good at the moment, but he's going to lose a lot of time very, very soon. But he definitely needs to keep that lead, and that is definitely what he has done so far as well. Not many changes up front, but in terms of positions from outside the top 10, we've got Webcam and Istvan Pukki that's made quite a few positions. The only one inside the top 10 that pretty much moved is Primos and Simon Beregni, who's dropped down a position. And of course, we have Jordan Poland, who started temp up to 9th due to obviously a few spinners on the back as well, and obviously Dylan Warren. I didn't know what happened to Dylan, actually. He doesn't look like he's got damage as well. Jordan Poland is out the race.
What's he done? What? Oh, there he is. He's sideways. What on earth? How's he done that? He must have been kind of pinched into the wall because he was...
What?
Oh, that's bizarre. There must have been a side-by-side there that pitched him into the wall, because that's literally on a straight where that has gone wrong. Jono Martins has brought his car into the pit. He was losing huge amounts of time, but that has caused a virtual safety car. Oh, that is the last thing Norbert Jakob needed. He was doing exactly what he needed to do. He built up nearly a second over Luke Smith in a very short period of time. Now, Jono Martins, I wonder whether he was considered... Yeah, new front wing on the car now. He was losing masses of time, as I was saying. So that is now a free pit stop here. And those mediums won't last to the end, but he doesn't have to kind of worry now or try to work with any particular damage. But, oh, I really feel sorry for Norbert Jakob on that one, as he was doing really, really well to build up a decent lead up front, and that has just completely gone because of the stranded Ferrari in between turns 21 and 22.
Yes, and I'm surprised it was only a VSC called there, not a safety car, but it could be worse. It could have ruined other people's strategies if it was a normal safety car. But we are going green again here at Singapore, and I think Luke was probably relieved that the VSC has happened because he can close in onto Norbert Jakob as well. But he's got a decent gap behind to himself and Duncan Hoffman. We've got Pukki, who's making some ground as well. In P13, he's got past another car, past Oscar Villacampa in the Aston Martin. Both of those drivers making ground. But obviously, Pukki starting in the back. Only driver outside the top 10 pretty much to be on those medium compounder tyres. So everyone else obviously opting for the mediums inside the top 10, of course. DRS enabled though, so we will probably start to see some potential overtakes heading towards turn 7 too, so that could be kind of interesting as well. But we're not seeing many DRS trades up front, but towards the midfield we got quite a lot. We got Max Wiesel, Sabaconye, Pedrenio, Primos. We got Peregni as well on that train. Then we got Jack West, Villar, Tawabukim, Jeffrey Ritchie, Pookie in a train, all the way up to P18 of Car to London. Then we got Jonah Martins, who, bless him, he's by himself in that Alfa Romeo, but at least he's still keeping going, of course, because the top 10 do score points in PSGL, but you never know what could happen here. So as long as you finish, you could potentially be awarded around here as well. Luke is starting to close in a little bit more, so here's the crossover period gone a little bit earlier than we would have thought, because I think Norbert Jakob is starting to lose quite a bit of time.
Yeah, the tail's starting to get a bit loose on that Ferrari coming through turns 11 and 12. So Luke Smith is really keeping the pressure on. Duncan Hoffman is not quite in DRS range of the Alpine in second position. Yeah, but Jonah Martins would have desperately loved to have had a full safety car, because he then could have closed right back in on the pack, but the virtual safety car didn't last long enough, because you're not supposed to gain any time under virtual safety car, but you do gain a little bit. Eastman Buki makes a move on Jeffrey Ritchie as the Haas then continues to make his medium tyres work pretty well and carve his way through the field. Duncan Hoffman is now knocking on the door of getting DRS. He's within DRS range at the moment. Can he hold on to it off the back of Luke Smith, who and now there we go, the fastest lap now going to the medium runners. That's going to change hands a few times, but yeah, that looks like those soft tyres have had enough on Norbert Jakob's car, probably earlier than he would have liked as well. He's lost any kind of advantage to Luke Smith. That was a really inopportune moment for that VSC to come out, but either way, he's got to do what he can with it. Luke Smith, what can he do? He's reeling in the Ferrari at a hell of a rate or not. Goes for the move. He's not willing to hang around. Outside line coming through turn 7. Can he make it stick? Oh, still side by side on the run down to turn 8. Yes, it is. The Alpine has wrestled the lead from Norbert Jakob. What a move from Luke Smith. That was bold and decisive. He wanted that and he made it stick. Nicely done.
Well, he likes night races, doesn't he? Because remember when we last visited a night race, it was around Jeddah. He took a commanding win and made some good moves there as well. So potentially he just likes races where the temperatures are cooler as well. It helps him with his tyres, but it's a lot harder compared to obviously Jeddah in terms of keeping your tyre temperatures up. But I guess he probably likes the nature of street circuits a bit more too. So as long as he can keep it up, he should be able to keep the guys like Duncan Hoffman, Max Wiesel behind him as well. But we do have, I think, more people trying to make some ground on Norbert Jakob as well. Duncan could potentially get past sooner rather than later as well. So if I was a Ferrari driver, I would come in. He seems to be struggling so much in that Ferrari, and he's just braking. He's locking up quite a few times, and yes, here he comes into the pits, and that promotes Duncan and Max Wiesel up to second and third respectively. And whoa, that surely got to be harder. It's me. Yeah. It's got to be a 2-stop, but we will see. Is it yellow stripe or is it white stripe? It looks like white to me. No, not
That's mediums.
White. Mediums. So is he going for a 2-stop then, or can Mears make it? I don't know with this game.
He's hoping for a safety car, surely. There's no way those mediums can go that long. But, I mean, if he can make that work, then that's an absolute great strategy call. But this leaves Luke Smith just under 1.5 seconds ahead of Duncan Hoffman. So he hasn't got DRS to worry about, or giving DRS to Duncan Hoffman to worry about. And another position to Eastman Pookie. Again, he's carving his way through those hard tyre runners. He's now right behind Jack West. He's just made the move on Manolo Villar. So he's doing really, really well on a track that's not easy to overtake on at all. And he's doing a fantastic job. Fair play, Eastman Pookie. Starting at the back of the field. Only one outside of the top 10 on medium tyres. So, as he nearly hits the back of the Williams of Jack West. They're coming down into turn 13, but does manage to keep his car out of the back of the Englishman. Is he going to go? Whoa, that's a pole move! No! Oh, that was clumsy. Eastman Pookie did not have enough of his car alongside Jack West to realistically claim that. So he sent the Williams into a spin. That's put Jack down into 11th. I got to put blame on Eastman for that. I don't think he should have made the move from that far back. That's a bit too desperate to try and make a move like that at this early stage.
Yeah, he was very ambitious as well. Even though he's made a few positions off the start as well, you could see when we were on board with him that there wasn't much space left between the two, and someone had to back off, and neither of them backed off, and that's when a collision happened and Jack West spun. So I hope Jack West hasn't got any damage, but if he doesn't look like he's got damage, he's continuing on anyway, but that's hindered his chance of doing well in this race. But to be fair, he's in 11th position, so he could still salvage some points. He's still in a train with Manolo Villar and Pookie as well, so he hasn't lost as much time as we thought he has. So, but it was a shame. It could have been a lot worse. I think it wouldn't have done his tyres any good as well. It would have been very, very hot, so he had to warm them up cool them down quite quickly to make sure he didn't get involved in another spin. But we will see. There's a question in the chat saying, is rain forecasted? We don't know. We haven't been told the weather. The only people that know the weather is the drivers. So we are surprised as you guys are in the chat of what the weather is. So meanwhile, we've got Primoz and Simon Brady going for moving sector 2, it seems like, and we're seeing Primoz defending for his life here at the moment as we're starting to get onto the start of sector 3, which is a lovely part of the circuit, by the way, to drive for me, as he holds on. I don't know how he holds on to that, but don't forget, Primoz is actually helping his teammate Virginia, who's still in this championship fight, don't forget. I wonder if there'll be any team orders. I think there will be. Maybe Primoz will be ordered to just keep behind Virginia and hold Brady up. We don't know. They may not do that. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the strategies for McLaren, but there's also constructors to think about, so they need to score well for the constructors. But I think the highest, obviously, of the championship contenders is Luke Smith right now in P1. So Luke Smith doing the better out of the three in contention for the title at the moment.
Dylan Warren in the pits, only 6 laps on the medium tyres. Is that a retirement for the Alpha? Is that a new front? Yeah, it's new front wing.
On the hards though, which can get to the end.
Yeah, so he won't have to pit again, but he wouldn't have wanted to have pit that early on the medium tyres. But either way, he can still make that work. Yeah, Luke Smith doing what he needs to do. Also into the pits is Jonas Martins again. Oh no, is that going to be the end of his race? That's twice that he's been in. Surely he can't have burned the best out of those medium tyres into his pit box. That's another front wing change for Jonas Martins. Goodness me, they're going to run out of wings at this rate. Down there it's Alfa Romeo pressing on nonetheless. At least he's still in the race, so fair play to Jonas Martins for that one. Who shall we have a look at? Well, Simon Perroni we saw having that great scrap with Primoz Miklovic last lap coming through turn 13. I think that was the McLaren making a mistake and Simon Perroni trying to capitalise on it. Didn't quite pull off though for the Frenchman as he's still in 7th position. Let's have a look at... So Eastman Pookie is now in... he's in 9th at the moment. We saw... because of that tangle with Jack West. He's just about to close in on DRS range 2. Andrei Tarabukin directly ahead. So the second of the Alpines could well come under fire fairly soon, but there's not a lot of battery power left for Eastman Pookie. He's been pushing very, very hard. Less than 10% left in the battery then for the Haas, and that's going to make his life very, very difficult now, as the mediums may well be in their prime at the moment, but he's having to use everything he can to close in on Andrei Tarabukin. What's Manolo got? Yeah, see 36% on the car behind, 82% up front. So Andrei Tarabukin being the lead hard tyre, he's not pushing too hard too soon. He's just running his own race at the moment. 7 seconds off the back of that top pack, or certainly 2nd to 7th is in the pack. Luke Smith is just out there in a tier of 1 at the moment, doing a stunning job up front. And there he is in the Alpine. You can't even see Duncan Hoffland's car in that particular shot, but both the Mercedes doing well in top 5. So Duncan Hoffland 2nd, Bentley's Sabaconi in 4th, with Max Wiesel in the middle, and the 2 McLarens directly behind. So back into the rhythms now. We'll see who is going to be next into the pits, or who's next into the wall.
Yes, don't say next into the wall, because knowing that we may see another similar incident like what Jordan Poland did at the moment. But yeah, mediums I would say, lap 15 I would predict for the drivers to go and make their one and only stop for the hards if they wanted to. But if they want to do it now, if they get damaged somehow, they can go on to hards to the end, just like we seen with Dylan Warren and Jonah Martin. So at least the people on the mediums have a little bit of flexibility, because there's no way they're going to do medium to soft. It's either going to be medium to hard or hard to soft, which is what the alternate strategy runners are doing right now. So that's why they're still floundering on right now as well. And some people are just saving their tyre life as well, because it's not going to last the whole race, these tyres, and the tyre temp is not going to be optimal for the whole race too. So there's plenty of laps where they just got to save, and then the next lap, maybe that's when they could potentially push. That's what Luke Smith has. Luke Smith has that buffer in order to save a bit of ERS and fuel that he wants to. And he's on 27. He's not saving ERS as I was saying it, but I'm trying to think where you would save ERS around this track, but there's plenty of braking zones that you can do that, so watch out for that. And I think this is a track also which I found out many a times where it's absolutely annoying to save fuel.
Well, yeah, because you're accelerating so much out of so many corners that it must be very, very hard to keep the fuel consumption under control. Istvan Pukki is well within DRS range of Andre Tarabukin, but Manolo Villar is right with him as well. I've been keeping an eye on this battle for 8th position as it's been growing. Now, Istvan Pukki has been has been chipping away at that gap to Tarabukin, but he's just got very, very little battery as another driver onto the penalty board. Oscar Villacampra has added his name to it along with Max Wiesel now. So that is going to hurt the Red Bull, the newcomer up front. The Williams, I beg your pardon. As that is if the race finished now, that would drop him probably behind Simon Perrin, I'd guess. No, wrong one. Let's do that one. Yeah, yes, it would. It would. If the race finished now, that would drop him down into 7th place. So, hang on, who's got the fastest lap? Did I just see someone at the back of the field? Yeah, Norbert Jakob has got that, and he's down in 17th. But he would have done that very early, and no one's really pushing at the moment. So there's not really a surprise that hasn't been challenged for at the moment. As we see the heady cam shot here over Max Wiesel. There's a bit of a gap forming between himself and Duncan Hoffland now. So the Mercedes, is he trying to break away from Max to try and get himself out of DRS range? I imagine he may well be thinking of it. But is he pushing to do so? 32% on the battery, so he certainly is pushing a bit. What about, yes, Sabaconi doesn't need to push so hard. He's in that DRS train right behind, so he's got just under 70% in the battery at the moment. Simon Perrin, I wonder, is he being forced into just kind of minding his own business because he's still there behind Primož Miklovic? Is everybody then going to start to push post pit stop? I wonder if that's what they're waiting for. Well, if that's the case, then is he still going to be able to gain? Because everyone's going to be turning it out to 11 by that point. I mean, we will see. Lap 10 now is coming. It's coming to a close very shortly as Luke just comes over the line, and Simon Perrin has just gone ahead of Primož because Primož is in the pits. That's earlier than I was expecting for a medium starter. That's got to be hard tyres going on the McLaren.
That's got to be at the moment. So we'll see what he could do then. Is it going to be? Yes, it is white stripes.
It's a new front wing as well.
And it's a new front wing, so he must have hit the wall somewhere, maybe on the opening few laps potentially, even if it was only 11% on the front wing. It's not noticeable in the game, but if people have telemetry software or anything, it does pick it up as well. So sometimes you get damage, you don't realise it. As Savacogny has got past Max Wiesel, so it's now Mercedes 2-3 right now. So brilliant stuff for him so far. And I'm sure Max Wiesel would be under pressure right now because he's also got Ruben Pedreño right behind him on his gearbox as well, who's doing a stellar job as well, almost into the just past the Singapore sling, going through the bridge, which is an iconic part around Singapore. Wait, it's raining. It's raining in Singapore.
It is. Yes, good spot. It is starting to rain.
Aha.
Well spotted, Jess. Ooh, oh my.
It's exciting.
Even if it doesn't rain particularly heavily, you do not want to be losing adhesion here. That's going to... But look at that as we jump to Oscar Villacampra on the hard tyres, giving it plenty of left-hander through turn 14, which is a right-handed corner. Oh my, oh my. Well, we haven't seen a mass load of people head towards the pits yet, although is that's Sabaconi that's now come in. Now, people have been following...
Softs.
Yeah, I wonder whether this is going to be a brief shower, because we've seen a few people come in literally just before this rain arrived. So I'm not convinced this rain is going to be of a huge detriment. Again, we will see. Sam Corby is in. What does he go on to? I mean, you wouldn't go on to wets or intermediates at this stage. Oh, just as I say that, that's exactly what Corby has done.
Blinder.
No way, that's way too early. There's no way that they can work. As Pirani is now having an argument again with Pedreño. Oh, as the McLaren gives it plenty of wagging tail on the exit of turn 6. And Pirani now up into third. Well, well, well. This is kicking off a storm now. And the Red Bull is so slow coming out of the pits. I can't see how he's going to make those work at all. There's no standing water anywhere. Those tyres are just going to burn. That's got to be a mistake from Sam Corby, unless it absolutely chucks it down right now. And again, it is raining, absolutely, but it's not absolutely bucketing it down, although we're seeing lots of lockups there from Luke Smith. If Sam Corby can make that work, absolutely fair play to you. You have indeed done a blinder, but I think you've done that probably a lap or so too early. Oh wow! I didn't see this coming, because everyone, we saw so many people on the hard tyres. The standard, standard kind of soft tyre or standard dry race kind of setups we were seeing tyre-wise. I didn't think we were going to see rain at all. As though Dylan Warrington's got past him on the hard tyres. So yeah, Sam is really, really struggling out there. He's not making those inters work whatsoever. I don't think that rain's going to really prove to be anything, but we'll see. It could be enough to make this a difficult track much, much harder. That's the thing. It doesn't necessarily have to rain very hard. It's just very, very difficult to deal with anyway, because it's Singapore.
Yeah, rain plus Singapore does not mix, in my opinion, as well. And we also got Camper that's gone on to the inters then.
Indeed.
Is that early, or is that right on time? Well, it is raining in the pits. We'll see as he comes out of the track to see if it's enough. We'll probably go on board with the likes of Fremont. It's a bit of touch and go, isn't it? Maybe Camper's made the right decision. We will only know if it's the right decision once we get the call from race control saying DRS disabled, but we haven't got that yet. F3 just now had a wet qualifying. They had a dry race, obviously, but they had a wet qualifying. We had a dry qualifying. We had a dry start, and we're going to have a crazy end to the race where it's having rain. So I'm guessing I brought the rain from PSF2 with me to Singapore. So, they're going to hate me for that.
Your fault. And now we're starting to see spray coming off the tyres. Now I bet you we're going to see DRS disable very, very soon. I was just watching to see whether the spray is going to happen. And I'm just jumping on board with Luke Smith. He could barely go anywhere near the throttle. So my earlier prediction of the rain not playing a major part has been proved wrong. Someone's binned it. Is that Jeffrey Ritchie that's in trouble? He's crawling. He can't get anything. Jack West is sideways. He can't get anything out. Now is the time to be on the intermediate tyres. So has Oscar Villacampa called that right? Because now the rain is most certainly enough to warrant to make the slick tyres absolutely useless. Although Oscar Villacampa very, very cautious coming through turn 13. He's still going to get those tyres up to... Oh, he's Rambuki. He's really struggling to keep his car under control. I think Oscar's just being very, very cautious here. Lots of people in the pits. I mean, everyone's going to be in the pits now. That rain is way too much now for the slick tyres to be of any use. Svetkov has got himself a time penalty. Is that Carter Lundy carrying on slicks?
Surely not.
He has! Carter Lundy has carried on. He's wandered off the road at turn 2, but he's carried on. And there is Duncan Hoffland just coming out on intermediate tyres. How does he hope to keep those tyres up to temperature if nothing else?
You're going to lose enough time. You're going to lose more time staying out than doing the double stack. Carter Lundy has made a massive mistake. Everyone else is going in. Surely Dylan Warren is going to come in anytime soon as well. Sam Corby is going past quite a lot of people as well. And yet everyone is being passed from Carter Lundy. Carter Lundy's dropped to 5th place right now. And the dry runners, Jack West has gone on soft. Now, we
What?
thought that Carl Lundy staying
What?
on hard was crazy enough. Yeah, West probably forgot to select mediums.
Yeah,
It took a while.
He's retired.
Retired.
Yeah, I'm not
Aw.
surprised. I'd have given that a try. I was like, you know what,
Me
let's give it a
too,
go.
me too.
But that, because his car's come out on circuit, will that trigger a safety car, I wonder? We will see. I mean, that will be Carter Lundy's get out of jail free card if that's the case. But yeah, there you go. You can see from that stationary camera the rain is really falling now. I'm curious to see how the hell Carter Lundy is going to keep that one out of the wall. With lots of lockups, fair amount of bad language probably, and a lot of rallying skill going on to keep the Aston Martin under control. No sign of the safety car then, so Jack West's AI car has deposited itself somewhere. Well, I mean, you managed to keep it out of the wall, Carter. You did better than I certainly would have done.
Me too.
Yeah.
And he's running low on fuel as well, according to the dash. It's running yellow, so unless there's a safety car, he's going to struggle to get to the end of the race. So if I was Carter, don't stay out.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Wow. I admire your determination, Carter. He's
doing a Lando Norris.
it worked well for him, didn't it? Yeah, he's the one guy that's, he's got the barbecue out when it's chucking it down. So no, the weather will come back my way. He's absolutely adamant to make this work. But then if the rain spell is only really, really short, and he's still out there on medium tires, I mean, he's got to come in anyway. This is actually pointless. Now Duncan Offlin's actually disconnected from second. That's not going to help his cause. I mean, yeah, Carter is just, I don't know what he's doing, because he's got to change tires anyway. But I wonder if he's trying to go, slicks to slicks. If he's thinking that this weather spell is not going to last very long. He's already lost a pit stop though, so it just isn't working. So, oh well, we'll see. Luke Smith now 10 seconds ahead of Duncan Offlin. Now Simon Perroni. Simon now up into third, who's about to gain second from the ghosted Mercedes of Duncan Offlin. There he goes. Oh, bit of a lock up there for Simon as he comes through. When he turned 14, but that's come out really well for the Alfa Romeo, as he was down in 7th before the pit stop phase happened, so he's now right up there in 2nd place. Primož Miklovic, bearing in mind both McLarens were together, Primož now down to 14th, so that has gone very, very badly for him. If both McLarens came in at the same time, then I think Primož was the one that was behind. So if he's double stacked, then that is gonna hurt. We don't know if he's also had to change any front wings. Where's Carter? Gonna have to keep an eye on him. Oh, here he is. He's coming through.
Bless him.
Yeah, through 17 now. Duncan Offlin's fallen another position. Oh, again, still very close to the wall. Nearly takes Sam Corby's nose off. Is he gonna? Sure, he can't stay out again. As I say, he's the determined barbecue guy, isn't he? Oh, this was Sam Corby went through on the inside. Oh, he's coming again. Okay, well, you're entertaining.
Does he think it's going to dry up? Does he think it's going to dry up?
He must do. It must be his modus operandi, surely, or he's just, I don't know. Well, he's entertaining us. I'll give him that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Duncan Offlin's tried to rejoin the session, but sadly hasn't done so. So he's carrying on, or his car is carrying on, I should say, but he's not in control of it. So let's look at Max Wiesel. No, actually, look at Manolo Villar, who is close to the German, as they are closing or trying to close in on Andre Tarabukin. So 5, 6, and 7, fairly close together as the rain continues to fall, and that's going to, of course, make Carter Lundy's day even worse. Jono Martins has closed in his deficit a bit, at least on Dylan Warren, but yeah, he would certainly like a safety car at this point to bring him in to contention. There's Carter, as of course falling another position. But yeah, I mean, well, you gotta say that Luke Smith is just absolutely, like you say, Jess, like he did at Jeddah, he's just absolutely stormed it.
Well, it didn't rain in Jeddah.
Granted.
Luckily, it was dry around Jeddah, but still, it was a night race, and Luke's leading by almost 11 seconds. One of the biggest margins I've seen in a long time so far. And he's ahead of Simon Pregny, and those are the two main championship contenders. This could be huge in terms of his championship chances, because even though you start off well, you got to finish well to win the championship pretty much. You can't become complacent. We've seen that in other championships where they start well and think, oh, I'm going to win every race, so I'm going to get on the podium, but they start to make mistakes, and Luke Smith has been now thereabouts pretty much most races so far, and that's what's helped him be up there. He was in F3 last season where he did well, very well actually in F3 last season, did quite dominant in that tier last season. That's why he's here, and obviously made quite a few F1 appearances during his time as well. So I want to see how these two fare, but I don't think Pirelli's going to fight with Luke Smith throughout this race. My deltas are gone, so I'm not able to see the gaps very much, but I can see a Williams, an Alpine and a Red Bull fighting. I think that's Chad Buchan, Max Wiesel and Villar. Yeah, so they're a fight. At least I can see the track map. That's all good. So Chad Buchan is the leader of this train. Max Wiesel in a sandwich between the Alpine and the Red Bull. And then we got Villar, who's doing a pretty decent job to keep into the top 5 right now as well. But please bear in mind, that the intermediate tyres, they last about the same time as the mediums, which I'll need to check my notes again. I think they last about 17 laps, but I'll need to check if it's right, because you know what the game is like sometimes. It tells you that the Inters can last this amount of laps, but it doesn't. 16 laps, I was close. 16, 17 laps on the Inters, so they will, I'm almost certainly... will they have to pit again?
Yeah, they'll have to pit again. It was well before the halfway stage when they pitted, so...
yeah, I think they will have to, but I think some people can stretch it. But for Sam Corby, who pitted a lap before it was too wet, I'm almost certain Sam will be pitting again. Everyone else should be fine, but they'll be pushing it. Carter Lundy still staying out.
Wow.
Is he alive? Is he, is he just doing it for fun at this point? Or for me?
You would assume so. You would assume so. That thing has got to be horrible to drive. It's got to be so difficult. I mean, there's one thing about, adding challenge to a game and what have you, but that's determined. If nothing else, those tyres are going to explode. I can only assume he's wanted to go soft, but he's lost more, probably 2 pit stops by now. He's lost, so it's not going to work no matter what he does. So if he comes in now for Inters and the weather doesn't really change much, he'll at least be able to bring the car home without sticking it in the wall. Is he going to do the sensible thing? Nope. He's riding this train to the end. He's absolutely determined, is Carter Lundy. Well, you're getting a fair amount of broadcast time this time, Carter. I'll give you that much. Rain, let's have a look skywards. It's difficult to tell in the dark. How has it actually stopped? It's almost irrelevant because he's got to change anyway. I know the tyre rules wouldn't apply now because we've been on to intermediate tyres, but those tyres will not last until the end.
So that's why he stayed out, but he lost more time by staying out.
He was banking.
Coming into the pits.
Yeah, there we go.
Enabled.
There we go. And perfect timing for Luke Smith. That DRS enabled time came on just as he came out of turn 21. So he's now back in the pits.
Same for doing the Martins as well, even though he's a lap down.
Yeah, and
that worked out very well for him too.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicely done. So basically Carter was just banking on the rain coming and going fairly quickly. Medium tyres for Luke. They'll should last to the end. Well, we've got 13 laps to go, so yeah, they'll last to the end without too much bother. Oh, Carter, fair play for trying, but sadly that has backfired on you. So a mixed condition race then here in Singapore. Luke Smith, he's got to be careful though. He's going to be facing a fair amount of still damp patches out there. So whilst the soft tyres are going to be the medium tyres rather are the ones to go on to, he's going to have to be careful he doesn't just get too excited and chuck it into the wall still. So a lot of challenge to ahead for the drivers, but Smith now nearly 11.5 seconds ahead of Simon Perroni. But Ruben Pedreño is now looking to hustle the Frenchman for that second spot. So our top 3 in the championship are now right there, ready to do battle for the podium spots.
This is what we like to see, the 3 Titans fighting out as well. And don't forget, these conditions are still damp too, so they won't be pushing it that much. There will be certain corners where they can't go full throttle just yet, and they've got to save on their tyres too, because those tyres can get to the end as well. But for some of these drivers, if they use mediums in qualifying, they may be on a scrub set from qualifying. So for some of these drivers, in particular, if you're on, well, for the ones who started on memes, they should be fine. They should have a fresh set, I believe. But for ones outside the top 10, I'm looking at Pookie because he's on soft. I don't think he had a choice. I don't think he had a choice, but there's no way you can last 11 laps on the soft. We did see how Norbert Jakob was struggling at the start as Carter Lundy has passed Primos, by the way, for P13. Actually, Primos is actually going to go for a move again.
Carter's still not been in the pits, by the way. He's still on his starting tyres. Is he just going to run them down until they explode? Oh, Pedreño, you've just got yourself a track limit penalty. That's going to really hinder his charge towards Simon Perny. But look how many people have got track limit penalties. It's almost a case of who doesn't have them at this stage. There's a lot of them out there. So that's taken a bit of pressure off of Simon Perny for second place. And equally, Andre Tarabukin's probably not too worried about those behind him. Although, speaking of, Duncan Hoffman's in the pits.
It's AI.
Oh, is he still AI? Oh, that's a shame. Or is no, he rejoined. So no, that is him. He was on scrub tyres. Yeah, he was on scrub tyres. They were showing us 14 lap old medium. So they were scrub tyres. So he probably has been. Although the camera's pointing at his empty pit box, I'm pretty sure that. Let me just jump on board with him, make sure that it's actually him in the car. Because let's see if he ghosts or not. I can't do that until he leaves the pit lane. There we go. No, that is him.
Someone must have sent him an invite or something, because I did ask him to send me his friend code, but I think someone else took care of that. So thank you to whoever did that, to Duncan and whoever else disconnected there. So Duncan's back in this race, but not in a position he would have wanted at the moment. As but at least he had a battle though with Primos, 4P12, still trying to get some points, and he hasn't got any penalties either, Mr. Hoffland. So that could help in the long run. He can still get points. His hopes for point is not over yet, but he's in a situation where he wants to be picked up by F1 esports teams. He doesn't want to be fighting for P12, P13. He wants to be fighting for wins, for podiums, for top fives. Then I know what teams will be looking for. If you have bad races and if you have disconnects, which is equivalent to a mechanical failure, it's how you come back from a downfall. And if you do have a nice comeback, that could be better than pretty much just starting fourth and finishing fourth in a way, because you are learning to improve on the circumstance. Matt Vsov set the fastest out, and he got a time penalty as well. So more time penalties at the moment right now. And the second biggest gap out of everybody is Andre Tarbukin in fourth. He's having a very good race so far. To be fair, he's benefited from the weather changes, but still, you got to be lucky as well as have the pace in order to do so, and he's doing pretty good. He's been unlucky for a few races this season, but touch wood, let's hope he doesn't have an unlucky run for the last, I would say, 11 laps of this race now. And his teammate Luke Smith is leading, which is a good race for the Alpine boys so far. Both are having good gaps right now. As Pookie, he's trying to get past Carter Lundy, which he does. I think Carter Lundy just wants to go for fastest lap towards the end. I think that's what he's doing, because you can't be on the hards for the whole race. If you do, you'll get disqualified. It's only if you're inters. It's only if you're on inters you could go on to another set of memes. That's why people are allowed to go on memes again, because if they went on to inters, then the different tyre compound, dry tyre compound rule is extinct in a way. So they didn't have to go on hard. They can go on memes, which they had to, whereas Carter can only go on memes or soft. So we shall see. And thanks to everybody that's watching, by the way. And if you do like this stream, make sure you click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell if you're new. And also join our F1 2022 Fantasy League as well at Grid Rival. I nearly said Grid Finder before the stream, which is another thing. But we're not sponsored by them. We're sponsored by Grid Rival. So if you want to click on the affiliate link in the description. There was a video played at the beginning of the stream as Svedkov gets past Oscar Villacampa, who's going in. So did he pick up damage?
He must have done, because he's
or
only
was it
done...
a scrub set?
No, that was a fresh set. So soft tyres and a new front wing. Yeah, he damaged Yeah, he's just had a new front wing on the Aston, so he'd only done a couple of laps on those tyres. Oh, Max Wiesel's getting very close. And now Pirani has given himself a track limit penalty, so that's basically nullified his advantage over Ruben Pedreño, which is now 2 seconds on track anyway, so it could be that the Frenchman doesn't feel any particular pressure from the Spaniard. But on they go nonetheless. Oscar Villacampa now reappearing in 17th, so a long way behind the field. Oh wow, Max, his car getting very, very twitchy, coming through turns 11 and 12 down through 13. He's riding on board with the Williams. You saw he just had to make a sudden correction before he got down to 13. He's really pressing on to try and get past Andre Terrebukin. But the Alpine is having none of that at the moment. Pressing on then, and yeah, Luke Smith I think has just let off the gas a little bit. Oh, trouble in sector 2. That's one of the McLarens. That's Hoffland. What's happened there? Let's pick up somebody, Dylan, and that's a safety car, is it? Yes, it's a safety car, and there is Duncan's car, so he's hit the wall trying to cut it at turn 13, and that's parked his car right on the racing line at turn 13. Oh, we aren't done with the thrills and spills yet. Terrebukin and Wiesel and Villar all come in. And Max Wiesel gets a speeding in the pit lane penalty as well. So lots of people coming in, but that's a big disadvantage to Luke Smith. He was already past the pit lane entrance when the safety car was deployed. So now we're going to see, oh God, this is reminiscent of the end of the 2021 season. I'm not even talking about that with tyre changes and what have you, but okay, there were lap runners involved in that, I grant you that. Ooh, well, this is going to be Carter Lundy, for God's sake, bring your car in. Has he done so?
There's his chance. There's his chance to
he
not
hasn't
get
done
lapped.
it. He's determined. What are you doing?
Carter Lundy box. For
He hasn't
goodness
done it.
sake.
He hasn't done it. He has not got. He's now got Sam Corby right behind him. They've gone past the safety car, which is of course correct because safety car hasn't picked up Luke Smith yet, who's got Johnny Martin's right ahead of him, who's no longer a lap down. Well, he's not a lap down by a few feet. That's a few meters, I should say. So now, yeah, Johnny Martin's going to come into the pits. So's Luke Smith. So now that's basically going to put. Okay. Now I was thinking that Luke Smith was going to be at a disadvantage because he passed the pit lane entrance before the safety car came out, but he hasn't picked up the safety car yet. So no, that's not actually going to be. That's not going to make a blind bit of difference. So what it is going to do is shuffle up the order right behind him. Oh, my game stuck. Oh, my game froze. Then I was a bit worried. I was very worried.
Hopefully your game didn't crash there, Chris.
No, it froze for a second, but no, all is well. All is well. So Luke Smith, he's going to pick up the safety car. Everybody, I'll say everybody, everyone other than Carter Lundy is going to be on the soft tyres. Carter seems absolutely determined to make his starting tyres last forever. And Luke Smith is revving the life out of his engine. Maybe he's got a surplus of fuel, which could actually be the case, because, of course, with the disruptions we've had to the racing, easy as possible. Jeffrey Ritchie has not been in. Oh, right. I mean, his medium tyres aren't that old, so that's not a bad gamble, actually. But that's going to put Simon Perroni right on Luke Smith's case. That big lead that Luke Smith had built up all race long is going to have evaporated. Oh, God, has still not gone in. I cannot believe this. What is he doing? Is anyone in chat actually... apologies, I haven't got the chat window open. But if anybody in chat...
Let me get it. Let me get it open.
Does anyone in chat know what on earth Carter's doing? Because I'm fascinated on why he's trying to make
I know what he's doing. He's trying to pull off a certain Mr. Albon in Australia.
Oh, God. Pit right at the death of the race. Oh, okay, yeah.
But you can't do that because there wasn't any safety cars, so he's not going to pull off an Albon strategy.
Knows?
That's not going to happen. Well, if he gets points out of all of it. If he doesn't, then...
yeah.
But we're in for a final few laps. If your predictions are changed, quite a lot of people saying he's doing and people are doing it for the bans, or maybe some people are saying that he's doing it apparently as well, but there's someone saying that he could pit printers. Oh, I don't know. He's just crazy, but he just wants to have some fun.
Why
but
not?
as long as he had some good races in the final 4 races coming up, then surely this race does not matter in a way as well. So anyway, the ones that are on penalties, we'll keep an eye on those. We'll keep an eye on who has got what, if it lets me get my spectator menu up, which takes me a while sometimes. So Perigli's on 3, Rumadrenia's on 3, Vstal's on 11. I'm guessing one of them was a 5-second stop go.
No, speeding in the pit lane.
Speeding in the pit lane, so you can't get that on mid. Villar got 3 seconds as well as Svetkov. Norbert Jakob on 3 as well as Primoz Mikhailov, or however you say that name, I'm rubbish. Miklovic, there we go. I finally got it right, and then we've got Oscar Villacamp. Everyone else has got none, and is anyone a lap down? No, but Jonah Martins.
He was, but he's now. No, he'll now join the back of the pack eventually. He's just coming through 1920 now.
Ah, interesting. So, what would you do if you were any of the drivers in front? Would you you would really pretty much fight for your position, even with the drivers around you that have penalties, because they could get it removed, they could get warnings removed. We don't know, so you just got to fight if they do not have penalties, because everyone's on softs apart from Carl Lundy. Sam Corby's also on mediums.
So is Jeffrey Ritchie as well.
I think Sam Corby thinks that those tyres are not gonna last on the softs, and if it does not, he's got no penalties. He could jump way up the field if he can get the crossover right. So maybe Sam Corby and Jeffrey Ritchie are playing a blinder, because like we said with Norbert Jakob, they only lasted 3 or 4 laps before the likes of Luke Smith was able to catch the back of him. So
the car's a lot lighter now. The fuel tank are nearly empty. So not quite. They'll have enough fuel in them to go absolutely flat out. But they're a lot lighter than they were at the beginning of the race. So I would expect the softs to last enough to get them to the checkered flag. The safety car is going to wait for Jonah Martins to get the back of the pack. Of course, he can't go absolutely flat out. He's got a delta that he has to maintain. So yeah, I don't know which way this. I know one thing that's going to happen is Carter Lundy is going to sink like a stone. he's got no way out of that. He's going to, mind boggles as to what he's up to. But this is also a really big kind of get out of jail free card for the likes of Max Wiesel. He was basically running his battery down to nothing. Along with Istvan Pukki, but Istvan is now right the way down in 14th. He was really hustling hard for the top 10 positions, and Jonah Martins is in the pit. He's making this safety car last forever. What's he You're not going to go on to Inters now, are you, Jonah? What's he doing? There's another set of softs waiting for him. Why has he done that? He's making this safety car last longer. That's the only reason I can think of he's done that, because...
Well, the safety car has to come in. It has to come in now, because I think after 3 laps, the safety car's like, sod it. If you haven't I've
had enough of this. Yeah, your own problem. I don't know why he did that, because his soft tyres were only 2 laps old. So I'm confused on that one. What Jonah Martins is up to, I have no idea. I thought for a second from that aerial shot that we've just jumped to, looking at Luke Smith, it looked like the safety car was weaving, same as the drivers were. It wasn't. It was just following its usual line. This is the way the camera made it look. Oh, place your bets now, chat. Who do you think is going to come out on top here? Sensible money would say Luke Smith, but I don't know. This could go... This could go
anyone.
Yeah.
I think it's between Luke, Jeffrey, Andre, and Sam, because they got no penalties. Sam and Jeffrey on the mediums, they could last longer, but Luke has got the advantage up ahead. Andre could try and get past these guys and get a podium as well potentially, but I've got the chat as well, so we'll have to wait and see. And Carter, if you don't go in right now, you're going to get disqualified, my friend. So if I were you, I would go in. But
he's too far gone. He's too far gone. He's just like, well, I may as well ride this train to the end. He's determined to make it work. Safety car in this lap. Yep, you called it absolutely right, Jess. So the safety car's had enough of this game. And, oh, blimey, that's awesome. That's nauseating riding on top of a car that's weaving like that. But yeah, Jonah Martins has actually caught up with the back of the pack. I guess he thought, well, I may as well go for the absolute freshest tyres I can. Why not? You throw the dice. Who knows how that can that could prove to your advantage. Let's ride on board then. I'm going to go with Ruben Pedreño on this one. Let's see how this goes. It's going to be up to Luke to floor it. Safety car is in. Oh, Ruben Pedreño, the Spaniard, had a huge snap of oversteer there. Carter Lundy has already lost a spot. Riding on board now with Simon Perroni now that Ruben had that big oversteer moment. I thought he was going to tilt that one into the wall. As Istvan Pukki and Oscar Villacampa swap round. Svetkov has lost 2. Side by side with Norbert Jakob. He's looking to lose another one before they even get down to turn 5. Struth alive, and that's Miklovic. Priklovic? Who the hell is that? Miklovic, that's also gone past him, but horrendous start for Svetkov. That's gone horribly wrong. As Istvan Pukki's lost, he's still having an argument with Oscar Villacampa behind them, still side by side. Oh no! As Pukki has bounced off the side of the Aston Martin and has now gone sideways. Carter Lundy still falling down. That's exactly as we predicted he would. Is Istvan Pukki going? Yes, he is, but it's now seen him to the back of the field. But look at this. Smith and Perroni are nearly a second clear already of Jeffrey Ritchie. Now, there's no DRS available just yet, as Dylan Warren now has fallen to the back of the field. That's a big move from Pedreño on the inside line of Jeffrey Ritchie. Both of them are race clutch drivers, so they know what each other are like, and manages to cut in front of the AlphaTauri. The McLaren driver has managed to wrestle his way through up into 3rd position, but he's out of DRS range to the top 2. That is not going to be ideal for him. Someone's had trouble down at sector 3. Well, the back 3 are all in trouble, so that's Pukki, Martins and Warren. So Dylan Warren had a big moment that's dropped him right the way down to the tail end of the field. But it's a real battle then for those top 2 spots with 4 to go.
4 to go until the end of this race. Still anything can happen right now, and we are starting to see obviously a few of the medium guys just increasing their gaps a little bit. As Villacampa's out of the session.
Yeah, he's parked in the pits.
He's parked in the pits, so no safety car. Dylan Warren is
Dylan Warren's on circuit. Oh no! Dylan Warren parked it on the track. He crashed it. I can't cut to him because he's had an incident outside of turn 21. Oh no!
Oh god! Safety car as well.
Yeah, full safety car for that one. For some reason, Manolo Villar has gone. What is Max Wiesel doing? He's letting people through. Not sure what he's doing there, but he's letting people past after the safety car was called. Oh my goodness me! I don't know. I have no idea what to expect now. There's absolutely no clue.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all we can say to that.
Yeah, wow. A safety car for the 5, pretty much. It's going to be no DRS. There's going to be no DRS at all. This is just going to be a free-for-all. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers have penalties. Everyone else has none. Now, a few people say, why do you think the softs are going to die after 5 laps? Well, they can last 9, but the optimum pace is about 4 or 5 laps, which means they lose a bit of tire temp already by that time. So that's what's the answer to that question, because I know a few people were a bit obviously confused at the moment. But yeah, the question is, when will Carter pit? He's got to at this lap.
Carter will pit.
If Carter will pit. I won't be surprised if he gets disqualified at this point, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think in a lap's time, yay! Oh no, he's pitting.
No, he hasn't.
I thought he pitted Bill Spetkov and Sabakonyi, which I'm a bit shocked about, but they want to be on the optimum pace tyre, didn't they? Because after they'd gone after 5 laps, so they want to be in the best position possible. And I believe they have no penalties either, so there we go. I'm just trying to see predictions in the chat.
Or is everyone as confused as we are?
I think everyone is confused as we are at the moment, so I think no one wants to predict because they're worried it's going to commentator's curse right now. So,
Yeah.
right, the safety car's going to come in this lap, surely, because otherwise that will be weird for the game to do so. So, I'm going to place a safe bet, and I'm going to have to go for Luke Smith for the win for this one.
Yeah,
Because he's got a decent gap between himself and Jeffrey Ritchie, who's on the mediums. Tao Buchan's tyres are probably dead. With as long as Villa and Matt Wiesel, he's on penalties. Sam Corby is a little bit further behind as well. So I think I'm going to have to go for Luke Smith on this one, but I'm sure quite a few of you in the chat would probably agree with me or have different opinions as well, but we'll have to wait and see. Dylan has just put in the chat, over-optimistic with no front wing after people forgot to accelerate last corner, which was a bit of a shame there. So unlucky to Dylan, but it was nice to have him on, but we've already had 5 retirements this race, and safety car is in. No more safety cars now, Chris. It's free for all until the end.
Indeed, the only way really Luke can lose this one is if he chucks it into the wall. So I would expect really to Luke. I mean, Luke will power away, but he's not going to do anything silly. If Simon tries to make a move, Luke might not try and defend it too hard. We will see what happens. And lots of time we've been going on. They've actually let the safety car go quite early because there's still another few corners to go yet before we get this race back underway yet again. Jonah Martins probably isn't going to catch the pack. No, he probably won't catch the pack just before Luke drops the hammer. So, Simon Perroni nearly side by side with Luke coming into the final corner. And away we go again to get this race underway on board with Simon Perroni and Luke Smith defending the inside line, forcing the Frenchman to have to work for it. Oh, what a move, Simon Perroni, forcing Luke Smith to the defensive line, compromising his line through turn 2, and throws it through, and that's into the lead. But unless if Luke Smith picks up a penalty now, he will kick himself so hard, it'll be unreal. So it's Perroni from Smith from Padrone. Not a... Oh, it is! Oh, no! Oh, my God! I can't believe this.
What a crazy race!
Oh, my. I mean, I'll take the commentator's curse of the rain because I did mention it right at the top of the broadcast as well. I don't believe this. What is Carter Lundy going to do now? Oh, but he may as well just go to the end, and he's out of the points, so just for the lols and the giggles, may as well just bring it home. But that could just make the track that little bit, slippery. That's really going to disadvantage those on medium tyres because they don't want to grip on. They're not going to want to grip on a damp surface. Although I can't see any rain there, so it might. Oh, it is there. It is there a little bit, so it may not play too much of a problem. Primoz Miklovic has just dropped down to 12th. So their second McLaren is struggling a bit, down to 13th now. So could be he's in a bit of trouble. Round through sector 3 then for the field for the penultimate time in this insane Singapore race. It could still go any which way. So Perroni leads the field to start the final lap. He's not going to be able to build a big enough lead to undo his penalty unless there is absolute carnage behind. But then considering how this race has gone, who knows how this could go. And there we go. Carter Lundy has had the disqualification exactly as you said. So I'm assuming his car is going to just go pull over. Yep, there he goes. Carter Lundy, you kind of you've only got yourself to blame. You had plenty of opportunities to come in. But no, Carter Lundy, disqualification for you. And so then, Perroni. There's no obvious sign of anybody sliding around or really struggling at this stage, so the rain's not coming down as heavily as it was. Primoz Miklovic has added his name to the penalty board. Aziz Van-Pookie and Norbert Jakob having an argument for 10th position. The Haas just fending off the Ferrari. As you can see, Norbert Jakob now under pressure from the Mercedes side by side, coming down towards turn 10. Can't quite get the move done though. Oh, see Mercedes nudging the Ferrari, trying to make him go that little bit quicker for this final lap. It's very much do or die, all or nothing at this stage, and the McLaren behind is in the wall. That's Miklovic out as he bounced off of Jonah Martins. Oh my goodness me. There's still twists to this tail. That's pretty much Miklovic now out of the race. We just saw that little bit of a tap that sent the McLaren into the wall, into 18, 19 and 20 now for the field. Well, the penalties will... There's another one to add. Manolo Villar is adding his name to the penalty board. But first across the line is going to be Simon Perroni. But your winner here in Singapore, Luke Smith takes the top spot. Jeffrey Ritchie comes home in second. Perroni hangs on to the podium spot. Tara Buchan fourth, Pedreño fifth, and I couldn't even read the rest of the positions because they were all so close. So Luke Smith did indeed take the win in the end, but what an insane Singapore.
Wow, what a race. And to be honest, it was a race clutch one too, because Luke Smith is from Race Clutch as well. So I'm sure the team there will be very happy with that. But I was not expecting for it to be dry, then wet, then dry, then wet again. It was... I never seen a race this crazy, but they just got to be on their toes. And I think a lot of drivers did well. A few drivers struggled, but at least they've learned from it. And for some people, they're probably glad it's over because it's the hardest race they've ever done. Some people say it's harder than Jeddah. I don't think so. I think Jeddah's a lot harder, but there we go. I haven't experienced Jeddah in the rain, but Chris, I'll let you go through the provisional results, of course.
Indeed, provisional results before Eddie Stewart's intervention. Luke Smith taking the top spot, the only man into the 36s all race long. Jeffrey Ritchie second, Simon Perroni third, Andre Tarabuki in fourth, Ruben Pedreño fifth, Sam Corby in sixth, Ismail Pukki in seventh, Zabe Koni in eighth. Jonah Martins, considering he was a lap down for most of that race, actually finished inside the top 10 in 9th position. Manolo Villar in 10, Norbert Jakob 11, Max Wiesel 12, Svetkov in 13th, and those that didn't see the flag were Primoz Miklovic, Oscar Villacampa, Dylan Warren, Duncan Hoffland, Jack West, Jordan Poland, and Carter Lundy getting disqualified because he did not change his tyres. Goodness me, that is just every kind of insane, absolutely mad. But what a race,
and what a race to go back to as well, because we had pretty much 2 or 3 weeks off from PCF2, and whilst the PES tiers were still going on, the drivers were having a break, and wow, I think some drivers were showing that they definitely deserve to be here and are glad to be back, of course. And we are starting to see Luke Smith starting to get on form again. Regni, he's still up there. He's still in third. You don't necessarily need to win races to be up there in the championship. So maybe a third is not too bad after all. But Luke has got to be my driver today, because before the safety car, he was 11 seconds clear of anybody else. So bravo to Luke. Hopefully we can get someone in the interview box, because it'll be nice to speak to people after 3 weeks of not speaking to them.
Well, and after such a bonkers race, yeah, absolutely. It would be... I mean, it's not mandatory for the drivers to come and have a chat to us. Sometimes it happens where they choose not to. Usually when I start to sign the stream off is when they appear. But, oh my goodness me, I would not have wanted to have been a driver in that kind of race. My brain would have just given up by certainly the second spell of rain. Oh my goodness. But Carter Lundy, seriously, what were you doing? Why? Oh dear. Who knows? Stranger things have happened, I suppose, is the optimum thing to say there. I will start to do the sign off, as essentially that's usually what causes people to come out. So thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream, and also those catching up with us post-event. It is always a great pleasure to have you all on board. Thank you very much, Jess, for keeping me on the straight and narrow and joining me in the commentary box. Always a great pleasure to have you in here, good lady.
No worries. And next week I believe we're in USA as well, in COTA, for the United States Grand Prix.
I love Circuit of the Americas. I don't like it to drive it, but I love commentating on it. There is a possibility I unfortunately will not be available, as I may well be away for next week, but we'll judge that as and when. Thank you very much to everybody involved behind the scenes. Couldn't do it without you, and of course to our drivers for putting on a very entertaining and quite frankly an absolutely nuts race. It does look like no one wants to come and have a chat to us. Absolutely fine. It's not mandatory. We look forward to chatting to them in the future. Do catch up with us next week for more F2 action. Until then, thank you very much and good night.